Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another food vlog. Today, as you've seen by the thumbnail, we're talking about Spam. Now, loads of people have probably heard of Spam, loads of people probably love it, loads of people probably hate it. It's one of those sort of foods that you either do love or hate, there's no in between, but regardless of whether you like it or not, it's massively popular. I think it said there's about 13 cans per second somewhere in the world being consumed. So as we've been doing this video now, 30 seconds, God, nearly 400 cans have been consumed of Spam since we started this video. That is insane. Despite popular belief, nobody knows where the word Spam actually comes from. It's more than likely to be a sort of variation of spiced ham, which is what is in here. And a lot of people think, oh, there's a lot of additives and a lot of preservatives and things in a can of Spam. This is a 340 gram can of Spam and there is only 6 ingredients in here. There is pork with ham, salt, water, potato starch, sugar and some additives. But 6 simple ingredients. And believe it or not, there's even a Spam museum in America. In Minnesota in America, there's a Spam museum, which if you're ever in the area, you should definitely go to because it's probably the only place ever you're going to get to go to somewhere like that. I've never been, I probably never will. But since its inception in 1937, over 8 billion cans of Spam have been sold somewhere in the world. It's sold in over 44 countries worldwide. And it was really popular during the Second World War because obviously it's tinned meat. It's actually cooked inside the tin at the factory. So you can actually open the tin and eat it as it is, but I'm going to show you my favourite way of cooking Spam. I used to have this as a kid, quite a few decades ago when I was little, and then I went about 20-25 years without even having it. I don't think I even noticed it on the supermarket shelves, but in the last sort of probably 7 to 8 years, I've noticed it being on the shelves everywhere again. I don't know if I just didn't notice it and it was always there, or if I'm just paying more attention now because I'm looking for it, but I've started it up again and I really like Spam. We've gone through quite a lot of tins. I think we probably, well, not so much anymore because I think we got a little bit sick of it because we was having it at least once or twice a week for a period. But I'm going to show you my favourite way, just using one more ingredient added to the Spam. The best way that I think is to cook this tinned little tub of special meat. So let's crack on with the best way, in my opinion, how to cook Spam. Okay, so first thing to do, open the tin of Spam. As I say, this is a 340 gram tin, and you can see it's cooked in the tin itself at factory, but I think they don't recommend you actually eating it from the tin, even though you can. The hardest bit is getting it out of the tin. You just have to give it a little bit of a squeeze. And then give it a shake, and I'll show you what else I do. Okay, so when it first comes out, there is a little bit of jelly. I always scrape that off just because I don't like cooking that. I don't like having that in the pan. So any jelly that's around the edges, just to help preserve it, I think, I just scrape off with a knife. Get rid of that. Okay, and then for me, my favourite way of cooking Spam is to slice it. You can cube it, you can have it however you want. You could eat it just like that, but I slice it into about 1 centimetre thick slices. And you'll get about 8 from a 340 gram tin. You can get different size tins of Spam. You can get smaller ones as well. And you can also get different flavours. Not in the UK, I think we only really have Spam and Spam Light, but in different places in the world you can get all different flavours. There's about 15 different flavours: jalapeno, spicy chorizo, garlic, onion, all sorts. But then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slices of Spam. So I'm going to take that over to the pan and show you how I cook it and what, for me, is the best way to eat Spam. So before we actually pop it in the pan, it's just behind me now on the hob. The pan's just warming up, so we'll get the Spam in a second. It'll only take about 5 to 10 minutes to actually make, but I'm going to show you the special ingredient that you might have heard before, especially if you're from this area. If you're from a different country, or if you're from a further north or further south of sort of Yorkshire area of the UK, you might not know of it, but it's this chip spice, authentic American chip spice. Now you might think, yes, chip spice, why would you put it on Spam? But this is awesome. And it is like little magic food dust. It's only got a few ingredients in, I'll tell you what they are. It is salt, paprika, tomato powder, flavour enhancer, onion powder and garlic powder. But it's the salt, paprika, onion and garlic that give it a flavour. Yes, you put it on chips. We put it on chips all the time. If you go to Hull and you go to any takeaway in Hull or mostly East Yorkshire and get chips with your meal, you don't even have to ask for chip spice. You have to ask for it not to come with chip spice. It comes with it as standard. This is something that originated from this brand, the authentic American chip spice brand, or originated in Hull, and it's spread across the East Yorkshire. You never used to be able to get it anywhere else in the country, but now it has started to show up in a lot of Asda's and Morrison's, and supermarkets and things do stock it, but people might just go straight past it not even knowing what it is, but it is something you have to have on your chips. I put it on chicken, I put it on pizza, I put it on Spam. It makes Spam. Yeah, this is the ingredient that you need. I'm going to show you how much I put on, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished, and I will devour it because this makes Spam amazing. It makes anything amazing. There's 2 different varieties of this. You can get classic and you can get hot. They're both really nice. The hot one is a little bit too much. It adds a little bit too much heat to food because of the amount of chip spice that I put on things. I'll show you that in a sec with the Spam. But this, if you've never had it before and you can find it in your supermarket, get a tub. It's only about £1.50 for a tub, and you get quite a bit in it. It does last quite a while, even for me who's very liberal with it, and you know, I'll chuck it on everything in mountains full. So if you've never had it before, pop in the comments that you've never had it, and I'll get a couple of tubs of this and I'll try and send it out to a few people that comment that they've never tried it. I will get some and I'll send it out to you so you can give it a try. If it's in your local supermarket and you want to give it a go and try it, because I highly recommend it. It's magic. Some people call it crack dust, but I won't go that far. But let's get this on the Spam and let's see how to do the best Spam, in my opinion. Okay, so the pan is warming up now, and I will just say this tin of Spam, 992 calories in this tin. So it's very calorific. It is quite a big tin. As I say, you can get smaller tins. This tin would usually feed 2 of us. Me and Kerry, or me and Maisie would have this tin to share. So it would only be about 490 calories per person for the meat itself. And what I tend to usually do it with is rice. I have some of this microwavable rice, Mexican rice, but I'll show you that when it's done. So Spam and rice, delicious. And this is the famous chip spice that we're going to put on it. So let's get a few slices of this in. I'm only going to cook 4 slices. No oil in the pan. I'm just going to pick 4 slices. And I'll put the other 5 away back in the fridge. And then this is where you put the chip spice on. Now, I do like to throw it on both sides. As it's cooking, not after it's cooked. I think the key to it is to put it on as it's cooking. And then the chip spice itself cooks into the meat, and it sort of gives it a little bit of a crispy sort of coating as well. Yeah, I like my Spam slightly sort of burnt on the edges, because I like that burnt sort of, you know, you get burnt end beef. I like the burnt parts of the meat that are like real crunchy and like over flavoured. But that is about as much chip spice as I put on for one side, but I do both sides. So I'll flip them over. And as I say, they'll only take about 5 minutes to do. So flipped over, and then again, put some of this on, put some of the magic chip spice. I'm just going to tap it because the condensation blocks it a bit. That's better. There we go. And look at that. That is as much as I put on, but it adds a colour to the meat as well as the flavour, and it is so nice. 4 slices, I think, of that sort of thickness is fine. That is perfect. So let me know in the comments if you like Spam or if you hate Spam. I'm interested to know. Let me know how you do your Spam. There's so many ways. It's versatile, very versatile. It's really popular in the Second World War because you could have it with anything or with nothing. And obviously it's tinned meat. It doesn't need refrigerating. It has a really long expiry date. This can here, which was bought like a couple of weeks ago, it has an expiry date or best before date of September 2028. So 3 years. You get 3 years on these tins of Spam. Look at that, it's starting to go a little bit burnt where the chip spice is, and I love that. That just adds flavour. And look at that. So I'll turn it over a couple of times throughout the cooking process, but it will only take a few minutes. I do put the hob on full. I can turn it down a little bit now to about halfway. Now it's got a little bit of a crispy edge on both sides. And then I'll get the Mexican rice ready. But yeah, as I said, let me know in the comments how you have your Spam. I'm interested to know how people eat the Spam. If you've had it before, if you hate it, tell me why you hate it. I think Gordon Ramsay absolutely despises it, and he does put Spam down to the reason why he entered the kitchen in the first place, because he hated Spam so much, so he had to go and cook something else. So Gordon Ramsay is not a big fan of Spam. Are you? And as I say, if you've never tried this American chip spice, let me know. I will pick, if there's enough of you in the comments that say you've never tried it, I'll just pick a couple of you at random and then send you a tub of American chip spice if you want it. But I think that's almost done. It'll take another minute or so. We'll get it on the plate. I'm going to put the microwavable rice in now because that takes 2 minutes. And then by the time the rice is done, the Spam will be done. And it smells really nice. This is such a quick and easy meal. And it's about £3.50 I think for this tin. This is, as I say, a 340 gram tin. It's about £3.50. And as I say, it will easily serve 2 people. Possibly 3, depending on what you have with it. If you have a little bit of salad with it, a bit of pasta or whatever, you could get 3 people's servings out of it, because you only need maybe 2 or 3 pieces of this to go with the meal. If you've got other accompanying aspects to it, I've just, like I said, just got a little bit of rice. That's it. So I'm going to turn the hob off and let that cook with using the residual heat, and then we'll plate it up with the rice. Okay, so we're good to go. As I say, you don't have to cook it as much as I do, you don't have to make it as dark as this, but a lot of that is just the chip spice that's sort of cooked onto the Spam. The meat itself isn't that overcooked. I just prefer it like that because I love the flavour. I love the flavour of the like the burnt edges. To me, that just looks exactly how I like my Spam. So let's get the rice on. This is just spicy Mexican rice, takes a couple of minutes in the microwave. And then, what shall I put on the rice? What do I put on the rice, I wonder? A little bit of chip spice. Little sprinkle of chip spice on the rice. I don't put as much on the rice as I do on the Spam because I'm not cooking the rice in it. The rice already has a lot of flavour. To me, Spam don't have an awful lot of flavour unless you do something with it. But that, for me, is how you make the best version of Spam. What do you think? Let's get in. See, it's not burnt, it's not crunchy. There is a nice bit of meat inside. Don't know if you can see it or not, but it's, I'll try and show you inside of it a little bit. It's really, really hot. The rice is really hot as well. But that, it's like delicious, delicious. So let's tuck into that. Let's get this bit of Spam. Just adds so much flavour. You can taste the paprika, you can taste the garlic, the onion, the salt, all from that American chip spice. There's no fat or no gristle on the actual Spam. It's not like a really meaty meat, even though it is about 80-something percent, 90% pork, I think, pork and ham. It's like sausage meat. So it's not really tough. It's not really hard to eat. It's really nice. Look at that. And that's it. So that is my lunch, and that is my version of the best Spam that you can cook at home. As I say, let me know in the comments how you do yours. Let me know if you fancy a tub of this American chip spice. I will send a couple out if anybody comments and lets me know they're interested. I'll get in touch with you and get your address so I can send you one. And thanks for joining me. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do pop a like on it. This is a very, very young channel. I've only got four videos, I think, so far. I am trying to build it up, and your support is massively appreciated. More than you could ever understand, your support is massively appreciated. So if you have enjoyed it at all, please do pop a like on it, comment, and please do consider subscribing for lots more content like this. I'm going to eat every day. I won't show you it every day, but I do eat every day. So I'm going to try and get as many videos as I can put up and try and make it interesting as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. I'm going to tuck into my amazing Spam and rice. I hope you go and do the same. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.